What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is the podcast slash YouTube channel where we talk everything Power Rangers occasionally. I hope everyone is having a great summer, and welcome to all my Power Rangers fans out there, or anybody else out there checking this video out. Hopefully I can convince you to be a Power Rangers fan. And for those of you who, maybe are checking out this video for the first time or don't know much about Power Rangers, I promise you it has one of the coolest mythologies ever. It just hasn't necessarily been executed to its full potential in live action storytelling yet. And I think one day we will get there, but it absolutely has executed beyond what I ever thought it could have been in the comic book pages, with ever since the original Boom Comics Mighty Morphin run started. Absolutely incredible. So we are going to talk today about Mighty Morphin number 8 and Power Rangers number 8. Now you may be asking, whoa, those are last month's issues. What about Mighty Morphin number 9 and Power Rangers number 9? So Power Rangers number 9, unless they were delayed, it just came out this past Wednesday on July 21st. So I haven't had a chance to read those yet. And Mighty Morphin number 9 came out last week on the 14th. Haven't had a chance to read those yet. I was behind on some issues due to some stuff. No excuses. We're just going to get into it and talk about those issues, and then in the next couple weeks here, I will put out my Mighty Morphin number 9 and Power Rangers number 9 reviews. I've reviewed basically all of the comics since Boom has started doing this, going back years. And so I'm obviously going to keep that trend going. I am anticipating the Power Rangers property to kind of go to new heights that it hasn't yet, with Hasbro purchasing them. So I'm excited about that. But yes, we are going to talk these comic books. But also at the top of the show, I always want to talk some news, maybe some collectibles. And there's not very many major news stories going on in the world of Power Rangers at the moment. But there was some cool merchandising stuff to drop recently. And where I always check out my merchandising stuff is on HasbroPulse.com. If you go to HasbroPulse.com, they sell all of the toys that Hasbro sells, whether it be G.I. Joe's, Transformers, Power Rangers, Marvel, Star Wars, Nerf. They sell all that stuff. They even sell Ghostbuster stuff, a bunch of stuff on that website, and that's the official toys coming directly from them. So if you go to the Power Rangers page, they always have the most updated things on there. Now, since the last time we did this episode, a few things, or this podcast, a few things have dropped. One of them being the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Pink Helmet. It's about $85 on Hasbro Pulse. It's actually sold out, or else I would be down to get one. But also at $85, obviously I'm not dying for a Pink Ranger helmet. Like, I'm not gonna wear it, even though I could. If it was a Red Ranger one, because Jason's my favorite Power Ranger, I would be all over it. But nevertheless, honestly, if it wasn't sold out, I probably would buy it, which is good for me that it sold out, because I'd be spending my money on it. A lot of pink stuff came out, so the next thing that I did buy, and I pre-ordered it, and it's gonna be here when it comes out, is the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger Power Morpher. So it's basically the Morpher, but it's the pink version, but it also has all the coins of the original Mighty Morphin team. So, like they've had the Red Ranger one with the Legacy Collection, and they did it with Lightning Collection, they now have a pink one. And Kimberly is in my top 3 Power Rangers of all time, but even just the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger in general, whether it's Catherine or Kimberly, it's like one of my favorite Ranger designs ever, and I love the pterodactyl and stuff. So I pre-ordered that Lightning Collection Morpher. Also, I don't have a Morpher, so it was my very first Morpher that I'm buying. So I'm excited to get it. All the other ones that are out are way overpriced and sold by third parties and stuff. Also out, they have the Zeo and Pink Ranger collection, the Lightning collection. And it's funny, it's like a Catherine thing. It comes with the white cat. So for those of you who don't know, when Catherine was introduced, she was kind of like a villain being sent down by Rita, and she would be disguised as a cat. And her name was Catherine. Yeah. Another cheesy Power Rangers thing. But this is a really cool callback and cool for fans of Zeo and Mighty Morphin and the Catherine character to have these two figures together with the cat in there. Pretty cool. They brought some stuff back that was sold out, like the Green Dragon Dagger. We got the Zeo Cogs came out. We got the Green Dino Charge Ranger. We got the Zeo Yellow with the Tanya with the face, and we got the In Space Pink with the face too. Why am I blanking on the character's name? I love that character, the In Space Pink Ranger. We also got the monster, the Eye Guy monster, for those of you who remember him from Mighty Morphin. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I mean, this is not I don't get paid by Hasbro to plug this, but I just want to spread the knowledge and spread the love and talk about these collectibles. So and share. Once I get that Mighty Morphin, that Morpher, I'm definitely doing a open box opening on this podcast. So look out for that. But yeah, if you want to go get some of that stuff for yourself, go ahead and go to HasbroPulse.com. Alrighty, let's jump into these comic book reviews. So a lot of stuff going on in these comics, finally starting to heat up, get into some serious stuff. So Mighty Morphin number 8, again, this is the post season 1 Power Rangers, post Jason, Trini, and Zach leaving the Rangers. So we got Tommy as the White Ranger. So this is that era of Power Rangers, but in the comics after the Shattered Grid stuff. And we have the new Green Ranger Matt involved that I predicted years out. And yeah, so anybody who's following the comics knows where we're at with this. So every issue has started with a flashback to Zordon thousands of years ago with the Guardians. And they're in this place called Bandora's Palace, and it's called the home of the Zeo Crystal. So the Zeo Crystal is a very important element of Power Rangers. Obviously, they get it in Mighty Morphin Season 3. They become the Zeo Rangers. In the 2017 Power Rangers movie, the Zeo Crystal was kind of the MacGuffin. It was the thing that, the plot point that they were trying to protect. And as some of you remember, it was like under the Krispy Kreme, and that's what Rita was going after. And I think in that movie franchise, what they were trying to do was, because if you think about it in the show, why would Rita and Zed always keep attacking Angel Grove? Doesn't make sense. But if the Zeo Crystal's in Angel Grove underground, it would make sense that they keep sending monsters after them and the Power Rangers defend it. So I thought that was actually a pretty smart idea to make that work. So the Zeo Crystal's playing into this. They're obviously, in my opinion, they're gearing up to shift the comics. Oh my goodness, I just reminded myself of Turbo. Please don't skip the Turbo run in the comics, please. But they're going to shift the comics into Zeo eventually here. So I think they're setting us up for that. And this was a really interesting conversation. So they were talking, and they said scientists had theories about the crystal being a pure piece of the morphing grid. So that is a very cool thing to find out. And they give us a little backstory about the Zeo Crystal. There was this demon called Vitara, and this guy named Zeon defeated them, and that's how the crystal came about, I guess. So yeah, and then basically they're trying to convince the leader Zofram, whatever, that he should use the Zeo Crystal to help them win this battle and this war going on or potential war going on, and he's like, no way, the council has forbid anyone from using the crystal. We're just here to protect it or whatever. So that's what the flashback is. Very, very interesting, very cool. A lot of connections to Power Rangers history, Power Rangers lore, and setting us up for the future of the comics going forward, possibly leading into the Zeo Rangers. And I'm pretty cool with that because I love Power Rangers Zeo. Like, I know it's pretty stupid with the helmets with the shapes. Obviously kind of dumb because you can't see unless they could just see through the whole helmet. But the storytelling and you're basically, when you're looking at the Power Ranger seasons, you're like, which one is like cool and not cheesy? Zeo's one of the coolest, not cheesy ones, other than the shapes on the helmet. So love Power Rangers Zeo. So totally would not mind if they get into that. And then if they do, we've already met Gold Ranger Jason in the Shattered Grid storyline, but if we get Gold Ranger Jason in the comics eventually, like after he's done with the Omega stuff, he goes back and joins the Rangers and is the Zeo Ranger. I can't wait to get that perspective, because what they've done, they've taken all these storylines from the show and made them cool in the comics. So if they can, that storyline's already cool in the show, but if they can take that and make it even cooler in the comics, I'm all down for that. So we come back to modern day, and basically Zed has this bubble over Angel Grove, and they're trying to take it down. And it appears that Promethea, Grace, Hancock or whatever, Grace, Sterling, with Promethea, and Matt the Green Ranger is working with Zed and Goldar. But it seems to all be a front, and we'll get to that in a minute here. But one of the big things about it is that, so Grace and Matt have this discussion that he's like, I can't let them get hurt, and she's like, remember I told you there's you're gonna have to do things you don't want to do or things you're uncomfortable with. So they have that little conversation. And last issue left off with Zed giving the Rangers a proposition, telling like Kim, Rocky, and Adam that, like, if you hand over Zordon, I'll leave and I'll never bother you guys again. But obviously they're not going to do that. So a fight breaks out. Candace shows up to help them. And if you don't remember, Candace is an Altarian, same as Zordon, who was in disguise as a human on Earth and started dating Skull, and actually seems to have developed some compassion for Skull, and Skull obviously loves her, and that's playing a big part into this issue. So that's pretty cool. But there's a few big things that happen in this issue. One thing is that Billy is outed for sneaking behind Zordon and the Rangers' back and helping Grace and Promethea set up the Green Ranger, restoring the green power coin for Matt, and setting up that whole Green Ranger storyline. So Matt contacts Billy while Billy's in the command center in front of Alpha and Zordon, and now Zordon knows. So this was one of the craziest moments in this issue. So basically, and I wrote in my notes, I wrote down, burn, because Zordon dogs Billy. He says, Billy, you are so smart, you figured out how to bring the green power coin back. And he says something like, hopefully you're smart enough to realize that we can never trust you again. So it was just like a straight up burn, and I was like, oh my goodness, Zordon coming with that heat. So all of this is going on. Tommy and Aisha are trying to take down this tower that's holding the bubble up, right? And so they're fighting these gigantic putties. And remember, these are the putties with the green chaos energy in them. So they're very, very powerful, as they've shown, and very capable, not like regular putties. And they're fighting like skyscraper-sized ones. So they're having a tough time. Matt shows up with the Dragon Zord to help Tommy and Aisha. He did some sick thing with the Dragon Zord. We've seen it. You know how the Dragon Zord tail spins and it's like a drill? He spun it and then killed one of the putties instantly, which was super cool. And then Fire Blast from, I don't know what it is, some energy or fire blast from the dragon's mouth. And Matt says, I got like a trick up my sleeve. He's like, what dragon doesn't breathe fire? And then he hits the putty with like this energy coming out of the dragon's mouth. So that was pretty cool. I always like wondered why they never had the Dragon Zord spit some kind of fire out of its mouth, and now we kind of see. Hopefully, it's better than the Mecha Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. Even though I did enjoy that movie. And then so they make us think that Matt and Grace and Promethea are working with Zed and Goldar, but turns out it was all a ruse, and she joins the fight and helps the Rangers fight off Zed. But this is very important. Candace shows up to help them, and Zed says he's felt her presence on Earth for a while now. And I don't know if this is true, but he tells them, so he's fighting Candace, and they're all fighting, and then he captures Candace, and she's in her Guardian outfit, which is pretty cool. Like, she's pretty powerful. Like, arguably, supposedly the way they portrayed it kind of seems like she's more powerful than any regular Ranger, but we'll see. Maybe that's not the case. But he says his plan was never to put this bubble up. It was never to like show the people of Angel Grove that they don't need the Power Rangers. It was never even to get Zordon. It was to capture Candace. That was his plan all along. So I'm curious. I don't know if I believe him, but also all the other stuff seemed legit. So was that all really a ruse just to get her? Interesting, but we'll see how that goes. And the issue basically ends with they take down the bubble, and Zed gets out of there. So everything's like goes back to normal, not normal, but the bubble's down and all that. And then Bulk and Skull are doing their Ranger Station thing. They're interviewing people. They interview Matt, and they do like part of the interview and say, if you want to see the full interview, like pay $5 a month or whatever. So they kind of like run in their website / YouTube channel. And then Skull does a basically like a speech saying like, I can't find my girlfriend Candace, like please help me find her, and it ends. So really cool stuff going on. A lot of lore in this, a lot of new stuff, a lot of twists, some very dramatic moments. So this is like awesome. Like when these two issues first started, Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, I was like iffy on them, but they took a few issues to get going, and now I'm like really, really into these, especially the Mighty Morphin ones. But let me know what you thought of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mighty Morphin number 8 issue. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Is there any of my theories or anything that I noted that you disagree with or that you agree with? Let me know in the comment section. I would really, really appreciate it. All right, now we're going to move on to Power Rangers number 8, aka Omega Rangers number 8 is what it should be called. So for those of you who don't know, this is the team of Jason, Trini, and Zach after they leave the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They go on to galactic threats, and they're basically cleaning up the galaxy, taking out these big threats that could potentially be harmful to like the whole galaxy, but also if the whole galaxy is in danger, then Earth is in danger. So they're still in turn protecting Earth and protecting their home, their family, their friends, etc. But they felt this bigger call, and they went off and did this, and they're kind of setting up this kind of civil war between the Omega Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because they broke out Lord Draken from the command center and took him with him because they're hunting down these Imperials, and Lord Draken has experience with them, and he's very well versed in the entire galaxy. So this issue basically starts with Zai, the robot, and Draken. They're hanging out in the ship Spectrum 2, and basically the world of the Hartunians, these savage beings who take over other planets, they're basically being attacked by the Imperials, and when an Imperial attacks a planet, they wipe out the whole entire planet and kill everybody and basically reset it to develop new life over thousands of years. So they know that this is coming for the Hartunians, so the Omega Rangers are going here to try to stop it. They just don't think this is right, and their ultimate goal is to take down these Imperials, these Imperials, whatever you want to call them. So they are on Hartunian. The king is very stubborn. He's like, we don't need your help. We can defeat these Imperials, no problem. But the queen is not so naive. She's trying to get as many people off the planet as she can, hopefully herself. And then the Imperial arrives. So Zack stays with the queen and the refugees, trying to get them off the planet. Trini and Jason go and try to fight the Imperial. So a bunch of stuff happens. The Imperial is like talking throughout this whole issue, basically talking about restarting worlds and things like that. And there's a really cool fight between the Imperial and the Trini and Jason in their Zords. They attack it at one point, and it says, I haven't felt pain like that in like a millennia or whatever. He's like, time to return the favor. And basically, they are fighting the Imperial while Zack leads these people to the ship. Some of these soldiers from the king show up, and they're trying to stop them. The queen stays behind and fights them so that her people can get away and be safe. And apparently she's very capable on her own, which was a really cool moment that she was able to stay off and fight them. And then they eventually... So this is basically very action-oriented issue, and when it's all action the whole issue, for the most part, there's not a lot of story going on, but there was some pretty cool tidbits here. So basically, they're too late. They can't defeat the Imperial. The Imperial started the process of destroying the world, and Zack gets all the refugees on the ship, but not the queen, and he realized they have to leave. So they start leaving, and Trini and Jason are like, we got to get out of here or else we're going to die. And Jason says, live to fail another day. So he's very upset that they cannot save this world. And then as they're leaving, as the ship's leaving with Zack, so they show Zack and Draken see the Hartunian king like run out of the woods and approach the ship. And Zack doesn't let him on and just takes off. And that's a big moment, because that is morally questionable for a Power Ranger to do. But I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. If you read the issue, you know what I'm talking about. This king was like suppressing his people. He takes over worlds that, and Draken mentions this earlier, he takes over worlds that haven't even discovered fire yet. So he takes advantage of the weak. He treats his people like crap, treats his queen like crap, is very egotistical, like thinks he was going to defeat the Emperor by himself, didn't want the Power Rangers' help. So Zack didn't necessarily do the wrong thing, but in this superhero world where like it's like, you know, nobody dies, save everybody no matter what, like it was a big moment for Zack to leave him behind. And Draken even questions him. He's like, did you want to stop for anybody that you saw? And Zack's like, nope, I didn't see anything. So that was a pretty cool moment for like a villain to tease the hero about doing something morally questionable, because we know Draken obviously does stuff that's morally questionable, definitely. So they get away, and then we have the Imperial on the planet talking about new life being rebuilt and all that. And then he talks to his leader, and they reveal that it's so in the Draken run, that was the Ranger Slayer becoming the leader of the Coinless world. They had a whole battle and everything, and it was revealed that there's a character who they're calling Andros that looks different, though. It doesn't look like the Andros we know, but they called him Andros, but it's like an alternate universe version of Andros, so he looks different. So the Imperial's talking to its leader, and it's revealed, and it, to me, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I couldn't even find this online at the time when I read it, but it looks like that same character that they revealed at the end of the Ranger Slayer run, who they said is Andros. So it looks like this alternate version Andros is a big bad coming up, especially if he's in charge of these Imperials and what they're doing, because this seems to like be the biggest threat they've ever introduced in these comics is these Imperials. So if he's behind it, then he's obviously a big deal. But I'm not enjoying the Power Ranger run as much as I am the Mighty Morphin run, but obviously I'm liking both, and especially because they tie in and they're, while telling these grand scale like galactic things, they created this conflict between the Mighty Morphin and the Omega Rangers. So we're gonna get to see some action between them as well. So and I'm hoping like that storyline, the conflict between them is like goes on for a while, because I would love to see that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, what did you think of Power Rangers number 8? I enjoyed it, not as much as the Mighty Morphin issue, obviously, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you like in it? What do you disagree with me on? What do you agree with me on? Would love to hear your thoughts. And that's going to do it for this episode of Off the Grid of Power Rangers podcast. Like I said, Mighty Morphin number 9 and Power Rangers number 9 are already out. I'm going to get those, read them, review them, probably in the next couple of weeks here, and get back on track with this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, I'm Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at JacobBartley824. If you like anything Power Rangers, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to be talking movies, television shows, the comics, collectibles, doing box openings, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, may the power protect you.